Do you want to hear a story? Whether or not you want to hear it or not, I'm gonna tell it. One day, there was a boy who stopped dreaming. Then, a ninja appeared, offering to teach him the secrets of ninjutsu. Without anything he could do, wanted to do, or needed to do, he went with the ninja to learn what he had to teach. However, there was something rather odd. Although his body was trained in strength and technique, there was no secret that was taught. Rather, the ninja was obsessed with play and creativity. When the ninja was asked about it, he answered, "A secret is an advantage that others can't make use of, whether it's knowledge they don't fully understand, an attack they can't defend, or a defense they can't attack." All the training suddenly made sense to the boy. He was to build his body to be able to move itself in the world easily. All the play suddenly made sense to the boy. It was to build his mind to be able to think about and around. All the lightheartedness suddenly made sense to the boy. It was to build a spirit to never shake or waver in adversity. The boy could now trust himself more and was full of confidence. "I will trust my body to move where I want it to, my mind to solve what I need it to, and my soul to stand when it shakes. Whether he will master what he has learned and succeed using them will be up to him." The end. Now, you may be wondering, what does the story have to do with my VTuber endeavor? It honestly doesn't have anything to do with it. There's usually like a time slot and a part in every single VTuber's debut where they share their backstory and stuff. I needed something to fill up that time slot. So I decided to tell you a little short story that I have made. And it's not entirely pointless to me. After all, I like stories. It lets me live through things I haven't. Now to the real meat of a VTuber debut, the model itself. Now you might be able to see my ears kind of poking out from the bottom of the screen here. So I'll only reveal a little bit more. There's a little ear fluff that I honestly didn't really try hard to fluff. It's just a little basic fluff. It's just circles, bubbly like curves to make it look soft and stuff. A little hair shine. A chromatic variation there. All the colors except for magenta, unfortunately, because I wanted a more gradual stuff, but couldn't really try my best to fit all of it. Honestly, there might be a little bit of magenta to my left, your right, and then, you know, here are my eyebrows. Can do various things with that. And here are my eyes. Okay, whoa, I ended up revealing a little bit too much, so fuck it, let's just, yeah, this is the top half of my head here. Yep, I guess we're just gonna have to roll with it. Take a look at my eyes. Aren't they interesting, to say the least? I've been having a little go addiction, or I had a go addiction, recently, and so I decided to design the eyes to kind of reflect like a Go board and Go pieces. And I have like this little 3D effect that I was trying to go for. I hope to God I didn't undo so many things, because some of it kind of looks a bit flat, but oh well, who cares. And also, take a look at my mouth. Make a frown, do all sorts of stuff with my mouth. Have a little basic nose. I decided to alter its appearance a bit, depending on the angle, and you know, it's not too bad. A little extreme angles, this model still looks a bit off, but I mean, I'm not exactly a professional live 2D rigger, but I think it looks pretty good for what it's worth. You know, I can look up there, a little bit down, so you know, it's not too bad, I'd say. You might be able to see, like, you know, some of the ears that I have. You know, can I, okay. You wanted to try and eat the little fucking thing there. Okay, can't. Okay. But you can see a little bit of my ears. Here, if I lean my hair down a bit, and also, yeah, my ears move. They're tied to my, was it body X? Or body Z? Oh well, doesn't really matter too much, but they're tied to something so they actually move. And I don't need a toggle or whatever because I hate toggles. I'd rather just move and the thing moves for me. So yeah, but back to where we were. There's a little I got a little ear, human ear, right? I have two sets of ears, and usually it's hidden by my hair, and you know, it's covered by like my front hair, a little bit of my side hair. But it's whenever I face the side, it should normally my ears should be hidden by the hair, but unfortunately for me, the hair the ears kind of like go through the hair, so it's kind of weird. Here's the thing, I never actually thought about my design in 3D space to the point it's consistent, so we have this weird like graphical glitch that you kind of think and see about, which is a bit weird but hopefully you won't pay attention to it too much, but I mean, it's kind of there. But yeah. I actually, you know, if you take a look at my mouth, you can see that my tongue kind of like isn't exactly moving left and right. You know, like there's like a little bit of depth. There's also like a little dark spot in my thing to represent the throat hole. I was actually gonna go a bit more detailed with the mouth, but you know, to appeal to anybody who's into mouth shit, because why not? It's been a while. I've never actually tried too hard drawing mouths anyway, so why don't I try rigging it? But it's surprisingly really hard to rig something like, or rather design it to look good, yet not very odd. In fact, my mouth already looks incredibly off compared to like the rest of my body, but you know, my original design and idea for him, but oh well, doesn't matter too much. At least for me, but you know, you can see the little hair wiggles here and there. I spent a lot of time on this. Probably gonna be a waste because if I have been doing YouTube long enough and my previous experiences have indicated anything, I am probably only gonna get like, at very hopefully best, $20 a year from even doing YouTube in general, not even just VTubing in general, even when I switched over like some time ago. But yeah, take a look at my rather cute appearance. But let's continue on to the rest of the body. As you can see, I am wearing a very fancy plain white t-shirt. Even in real life, I'm wearing just a very plain outfit here. I really am just wearing like a plain white tee, so yeah. There's also like a bit of muscle on me, as you can see on my arms here. I've actually been doing a lot of exercise recently, trying to do 100 push-ups, some squats, some crunches and stuff, and also trying to do some running as well, because I hear it benefits your health in a lot of ways, not just you know, the usual stuff, right? And so I've been drawing my body to a bit reflect that, but yeah, I'm wearing a plain white t-shirt because I designed myself to be in the comic originally. In fact, real story lore, this character wasn't even supposed to exist. Like, I kind of gave birth to him by accident. Like, he was just meant to be a comic character, right? Very simple design, very unimpressive. There's no uniqueness to his design. In fact, his hair, his wild hair, everything of the sort was just kind of by plain accident. Just a bit more fleshed out as time went on, but he didn't have much of a story. He didn't have anything too important. But you know, he ended up sticking around too much after I added a bit of story, you know? Just like you, I'm just an average Joe who does random crap. And, you know, I'm dressed pretty plainly for it. Yep. White shirt, white pants, and I was drawn as a comic character, which is why it's also simple, because I have to draw myself, like, 500 different times. I already made like 100 comic pages. I don't even want to bother counting how many times I've drawn. I've also used shortcuts too, so I've minimized that number, but I've designed myself to be very, very simple. So, basically it means that fan artists won't struggle like hell because I don't have like 50,000 different, like, assets and like decor, and like I don't have like 500 hair ornaments and freaking various other crazy design elements. You see my design, it's just a bunch of spikes. And you can see my outfit, it's just a plain white tee and a short pants. Oh yeah, I was thinking about adding jiggle physics, but I thought it'd be too annoying to implement. Plus, no one's gonna see it anyway. You know where exactly I was going to implement it. And here's the full body. You can see my tail, which of course you could have saw earlier as well, but not the full thing quite yet. And, you know, if you look, if I turn, you know, left and right, you see that my feet kind of move like, kind of like penguin waddle steps, which, you know, it's how I usually walk on slippery ice. So, it's not too, you know, weird, but this stuff is kind of like by kind of pure accident. I don't know. I didn't really mean to have this effect, but kind of turned out that way. Also, I'm technically naked underneath like this entire freaking outfit, you know, because I intended to, or at least I do intend to, add new outfits, assuming I'm not too lazy enough and I don't just stick to this one for the rest of my life, or make a new one entirely and not even bother, even making a new outfit for this specific art style in this specific model. So, you know, it's like, you know, it's just what it is. But oh yeah, I guess you can see my bare foot. So, you know, I'm actually not a foot guy, but there is an interesting story to I'm actually known as, you know, like I draw them pretty dang well, which is, you know, it basically makes people think that I am that kind of guy who's into that kind of stuff, but in reality, I'm actually not. When I was younger, I actually was in a bunch of artists groups and stuff, and a lot of them happened to be into feet. And back in the day, I liked to draw full body stuff because I wanted to master like the entire human anatomy really quick. I didn't want to like practice just one arm because then I'd have trouble like connecting it to the whole body. Honestly, even though I draw full bodies often, I still kind of struggle at connecting them together anyway, which is absolutely hilarious in hindsight, but it doesn't matter too much, I'd say. But, you know, I had to eventually, you know, I drew like the hands, which were the, you know, the usual artist struggles at it the most type of stuff. Hands aren't exactly my biggest struggle, but, you know, they are what they are. I still kind of struggle at them, so they weren't much of a concern back when I was younger, but, you know, now that I want to be more detailed and, you know, pay more attention to shapes and stuff, you know, they're a bit of a concern. They're a bit not as high quality, but when it came to feet, I, you know, had to ask like some of the people who are more into them for, you know, I just, you know, like ask them like what makes them appealing. I want to understand like the fundamental heart of what makes this honestly completely out of the way body part that's usually cropped on every single artwork that you'll see appealing. And they just sent me a bunch of refs. They kind of showed me it. Biggest tip I could ever give you as an artist, if you also want like art tips to draw feet, spread the toes, I guess. That's like the one thing that makes it super appealing, aside from like getting the shapes and stuff right. But honestly, that's just basic anatomy at that point, and I don't really need to tell you that. That's just the secret, you know, to actually, you know, you get the anatomy right and all that, but the real thing that makes it appealing is probably just spread out toes. I don't know what makes it attractive, but I mean, somehow I've been, you know, I've managed to capture the heart of it, and and now I'm just known. Some people just know me as a guy who happens to have that kink, but I'm actually not into it. Honestly, it kind of amuses me that I've honestly managed to draw them pretty dang well, that I'm basically known as a guy who has it, even though I don't. It's just that I draw them so well that I basically am a part of that clique now. By pure accident. It's not because I'm actually into it. It's literally because I'm just that skilled, and I am actually quite flattered by it. So I'm not too bothered by it. I honestly feel nothing for it, but, you know, again, for the kink itself. But honestly, I'm kind of glad that I have reached the point in my life and the skill level and shit that, like, you know, I'm just that skilled, and I'm just known as a guy who can really draw them well. But yeah, no, that's all it for the art tips and like the model reveal, you know, my eyes and stuff, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, hope you guys like my model. Hope you guys liked a little bit of that little story there. And yeah, I hope you guys like all the little movements. You'll be seeing more of this if you guys decide to stick around for whatever future content I do make, including streams and videos and whatnot of the sort, including shorts and everything of the sort, if I get around to making it anyway. But let's continue on to the next part of this debut, the PowerPoint slide. Or, more properly, the actual introduction to, my stuff. Oh yeah, I guess, if I can widen my eyes a bit. So if, like, shit's, like, actually getting crazy and stuff, I can actually have a surprised expression. Also, I'm wearing glasses, and if I take them off, I feel like that, the program tracks my face better, but my glasses usually get in the way of tracking it. But when I take off my glasses, I actually don't know how well my face is getting tracked, nor the expression I'm making. So, you know, it's like I want to be able to see how good the rigging is and how well it's tracking, but I can't see how good the tracking is. I can tell that it does a bit more when I'm not wearing my glasses, but if I'm wearing my glasses, VTuber Studio doesn't really track it quite well. I clean my glasses pretty dang well, I think. Or, I don't know if it's like the reflection or whatever, but like, I don't know. I might have to look up a better solution for it, but this is, I took off my glasses right now and you can see, like, I don't know how well my expressions are, kind of, including my mouth as well. I'm not quite sure how good the tracking is, but I hope it's better, but you will probably not be seeing it because I like to have my glasses on, which I've put them on now, so that way I'm able to actually see the games that I'm playing. But anyway, let's move on instead of throwing on this tangent. Honestly, I spent so long making this model that I will stare at my own model, and now that I put it into VTuber Studio, I only put it into it recently, I'm amazed how well it looks and stuff. Honestly thought it was going to turn out worse. I already looked at like the full body and it didn't look quite right, but I decided to screw it. You're only going to see the top part of my body anyway, so yeah. Moving on. So it's time to get to know me a little bit more. Maybe a little bit of some basic facts. For one, my height is 169 centimeters. I am literally that. I'm not even kidding. I did not make that up. And my height in feet is actually 5'5". Now, if you were to enter that into a, an online calculator and convert the units, you might realize that those two aren't exactly the same. However, those were what were measured on my yearly physicals. They tend to fluctuate around that range. So, for what it's worth, those two numbers were the ones that were actually measured. Honestly, I believe like my height in would be like 5'5", if I remember correctly, more closely to that. But yeah, no, that's my genuine height. My birthday is on August 2nd. It's coming up pretty soon, but don't wish me a happy birthday yet because I'm not ready to feel old quite yet. I am currently 21 for now until about a week, soonish. And as for languages, I'm able to speak three of them, one of which I'm pretty sure you've already are hearing pretty well. I believe that I speak English pretty dang well. Um, my English skills aren't really tied to my social skills, but of course, as you may understand and hear me speak English, I'm pretty damn fluent. I'm actually ESL for what it's worth. I actually am not. I actually immigrated here from a very, very early age, so this is technically my second language. But I ended up forgetting my first one, that being Chinese. But I did end up learning it again in post-secondary education through community college. Got it for free. Thank goodness for that. And I'm pretty bad at my tones, but I'm able to speak it at a very, very basic level. 大家好，你们好吗? Yeah, what I said there was, hello everybody, how are you all doing? Are you all good? It's I'm not particularly too focused on tones, but I ended up not really going further on learning it because I don't have many friends who I can talk in Chinese with. So there's not much immersion nor use of it, so I ended up kind of quitting. Of course, the basic knowledge is still stuck in my head. My third language is actually Japanese, and I self-studied it using Anki Kirdali's YouTube videos and all her grammar, explanations and stuff. They are really great resources. And I'm able to speak it, I'd like to say pretty well, but you'll have to hear me and judge it for yourself. 皆さん、こんにちは。私は忍者です。よろしくお願いします。Now, I hope that did sound good, but unfortunately, I'm only able to speak very, very basic sentences. 俺の日本語は本当まずいです。ごめんなさい。So, of course, both of those languages that I'm pretty bad at, I won't tend to speak a lot of it during the streams that I will have or in my videos, though I will try to sprinkle in here and there if I feel like it, but generally I will not because I'm pretty bad at it and it feels embarrassing to really use them, especially because I'm not really confident in them, even though I know them, more than the average person in America, I suppose, considering that they probably all just mainly speak English, but I digress. So, what do I like and dislike? One of the few things that people do to get to know each other is to know what they like and dislike. I like a lot of games and movies. I've been playing a lot of games and watching a lot of movies in recent times. I played a lot of Terraria. I've actually been getting a little Go addiction. It is surprisingly a very, very fun game, extremely challenging, and I genuinely love it. It seems incredibly complicated, and it kind of is, but also not really. It's just how far it's like a game that tests how far you're able to look ahead into the future, it's not a game, it's not like a game where you have to be a literal person who can see the future, though I guess that would particularly help. It's a game that really does make you look forward into the future, and it always is fun and challenging, and it's always so enjoyable. And Little Witch No Better, I like a little bit of Souls type action, like a little bit of a challenge. I might not be good at it, and I'll probably die a lot of times, but I do enjoy the challenge and being really, really engaged with the game. As for movies, I've been watching them pretty recently, such as Speed Racer, and Ninja Assassin are my most recent ones. Watership Down, Fantastic Planet are some of the old movies that I've watched some time ago, but I would have to recommend all of them. And I've also watched some other movies not on this list, such as Hello Dolly and some other movies as well that I personally haven't really that I won't really be able to name off at the top of my head, but all I can say is that I've been enjoying quite a few movies during my downtime, and they're really entertaining. I'd recommend all of them, Speed Racer especially, because it is genuinely good. I remember back in the day it was looked down upon. From what I hear, it's because of a lot of complaints about like the story not being accurate to the original source material, but when I went to check out the original source material, um, it seemed like, Speed Racer was like the weekly show type deal, and Speed Racer, the movie itself. See, I feel like just judging from the first episode, I am not, unfortunately, a hardcore Speed Racer fan. I would recommend, again, to watch the movie. And also that, honestly, although I can't say that it's super, super uh, respectful, or not, I feel like respectful is not the right word. Super tied to the original storyline, and is basically follows all that stuff to a T. I would still recommend it because it's just that good. Fantastic Planet as well, great visuals, alien stuff, I love it. But I'm probably getting a little bit off topic, and I don't want to talk about movies all day. And I doubt you want to hear me talk about movies all day. So let's go on. I like ninjas. Of course, it's already in my username. I'm sure most people might have already realized that, but most people sometimes just choose whatever cool username and try to be cool or funny or anything about it. Me, I actually put ninjas in my username because they are actually cool. I love them quite a bit. Honestly, embarrassing little story. I used to pretend I was a ninja back in elementary school. I ran around like a school bully with like hand symbol that I learned from a book, and ran around him, and he pretended to be affected by it, which I thought was weird because I didn't feel any energy coming out, but he pretended like he was like being hurt somehow, which I wasn't trying to do at all. In fact, I was honestly trying to do something worse. But, aside from the fact that one, it wasn't the desirable outcome, and two, or it wasn't the outcome I was trying to get to, and two, I didn't feel anything different. It was more of it's kind of an embarrassing memory, but yeah, no. It's a funny memory now, looking back on it. The third thing I like is arts and crafts. I've done a lot of art and various other stuff, such as music and stuff, general arts in general. I've done a lot of drawings and such, traditional on paper, using good old paper and pencil. And I switched over to digital because I don't have to buy a lot of paper and pencils just to make works. Plus, the more paper I have in my room, the more space it'll take, but like with a computer, you can store like essentially infinite amount of drawings. Not literally, of course, but you can fit more drawings in a computer than you could in a book, in my opinion. Though, a book, I'd like to actually make a little art book containing all of my artworks. And I've also done a lot of paper crafts when I was younger. I used to make a lot of paper ninja stars, a lot of crafts like that. And my more recent papercraft projects are essentially paper figurines, because I'm generally too poor to buy my own paper figurines. So let me show you a picture of like one of the paper figurines. Isn't she cute? That's Yoshino from Data Life. I spent a lot of time on it. It's not particularly hard because I use somebody else's template. I've never tried to build my own using Blender and then porting it over to a software that is built to create it. And as for the glass jar right beside it, it ties into my fourth little likes. I like a little bit of mischief. I like to see how people react to certain images and things. And it comes from a little bad habit of mine where back when I was younger, I used to do things people hate because I used to be hurt as a kid by a bunch of other bullies and adults and everything of this sort. School was not a pleasant time for me. And generally, I always did something bad because depending on how the other person reacts, I would learn from their reaction and see what I can do myself. Because whatever reaction I did, I was always told that it was always the wrong reaction. But after growing up quite a bit, and honestly very recently, and actually remembering why I do this tend to be rather mischievous, I've learned that, simply put, the world's just plain one-sided. It's never consistent. It really does not matter. React how you want to react, and honestly, people will always have a problem with something. So it really does not matter too much. And I've honestly now fully consciously can feel and word what I have learned through essentially gauging other people's behaviors through getting out of the reaction. However, because I've basically been doing that my entire life to the point it became a habit, an unconscious automatic thing whenever I have to deal with somebody new and whatnot, it's essentially I've begun to find a bit of amusement by it. And, it's funny when, like, there's many jokes and comedians who've done, like, little skits about some of the pranks they've done to others and everything of the sort. It's the same amusement. And I'm sure that's obvious, but that's the reason why. It came from a little behavior which I used to try and gauge what was an acceptable behavior that others could do, that therefore if they can do, then that's okay, then I can do, because that's okay. Only to learn that it doesn't matter what I do, it's always not okay. I hate public schools 100%. I probably could have put on my dislikes, but I have 4 of them, and the entire school system in its entirety can be included in a second point. For one, I hate spicy food. Although I can tolerate a little bit of it, let's move on to the dislikes. I probably should have gone there through a bit more smoothly, but I am pretty bad at introductions. And all this little explaining myself and introducing myself. I don't like spicy foods because it just plain hurts. To me, the spiciness is not a flavor, but a distinct sensation of pain. And, well, burning. I genuinely could not understand why people like it. Personally, I think that if you stapled your mouth, it would taste like maybe a ghost pepper or some of the more spicier items that spicy enthusiasts would enjoy. I simply cannot find the appeal of it. I can tolerate a little bit of it, but I generally completely hate it, and food would be better off completely without spiciness. It is literally nothing more than a painful sensation. I cannot grasp how it's even conceivably tasty. And, you can argue about, like, the health benefits and stuff and whatnot, but in the end, eating spicy stuff will help your system do all the stuff. It has its properties, but in the end, the flavor itself is dog crap, regardless of health benefits, regardless of whatever. But although I do hate spicy foods, I am, an Asian, so I do have a bit of more tolerance to spicy food, which is absolutely funny, because although I hate spicy foods, I can tolerate them better than, like, most people, surprisingly, which is hilarious, but really does not change the fact that I hate them. Secondly, I hate idiots. This counts into the school system stuff, and it's basically included in all that, right? The one thing that I've learned from essentially living this life for so long is that, I used to be the book smart kid in school, right? However, I was honestly pretty dumb back then despite that. Because, with the brutes with all the muscles and stuff, they never pick up a book and figure out how to use their strength properly. Geniuses, like me at the time, are so smart that we never put in any hard work because we always know an easy route. And, of course, we then never ever do any hard work. And when the time comes where that's the only thing we can do, put in the hard effort to do something, to get something done, we will do anything to avoid it. In fact, our brains will always say, it's hopeless, it's pointless, we can't do it. We'll make any excuses because it's the logical extreme. It's the logical conclusion. It's the smart person's, end result. It is what we believe can be predicted and what will happen. But because of that, we geniuses tend to be idiots in that regard, where we never actually get our hands dirty because it's too hard for us, and we just believe that we're so smart that we don't need to because we already know how it ends. One thing that we have to know is that we don't know how it ends, and the only way we will know how it ends, or to even push it to a conclusion that we would like, or a result that we would like, is to simply put in the hard work. That is to say, we need that smart people like me should have exercised a bit more instead of just sticking to their books. Although it kind of sucks, and the burn doesn't really feel as pleasant, it's still something that needs to be done. Workout, exercise, do a lot. I do recommend it. I've been doing 100 push-ups, like I said in the model reveal part, and a bunch of crunches too, squats, and whatnot. I've done a little bit of push-ups today. I can't really push up more, but and I also need to get my protein shake done. Need a lot of protein for your workouts because your muscles won't really grow without them. Feeling tired is another one of my dislikes. It is very crucial that you get a lot of sleep if you're depressed and if you have like many mental illnesses. You want to get as much sleep as you can get that feels comfy to you. You want to be well rested. And the thing is that sleep also carries over to everything else in your life. You need that well-rested body because it will affect your mood, it will affect your physical performance, it will affect your mental performance, it will affect your mental health, it will affect everything. And the one thing I hate is feeling tired, which is also why I hated school. They made us wake up so goddamn early, and I hated it. Absolutely despicable. You really expect, there is no way you could reasonably expect some sleep-deprived individuals to even learn when they're like essentially half daydreaming. And I could tell you that nothing in school has really stuck because of that. There's of course the usual algebra and geometry that you'll remember, but I can tell you that most of history, most of science, most of math, most of everything to advanced degree eventually just gets forgotten. So there's no, maybe if we had learned when we were awake and actually cared about learning the material and felt motivated to, instead of motivated to figure out how to sleep without getting the teacher's ire and having them try and wake us up. That's one way to have more effective learning potential, but of course that's just how the world is. And of course this is a dislike, so you're going to hear me rant a little bit here. But of course we're about to reach the end. There's only 4 points for each because I want to keep it short. And I hate introductions is my final one. This entire slide, honestly, took so long. More longer than it took for me to make my Live 2D model. I forgot I animated that twice. I didn't mean to, but I think I probably should have fixed that. Oh well. But yes, I generally hate introductions because I'd rather just dive into the meat of introduction. Like if I want to get to know somebody, I'd rather just work with them, get to know them. I don't really like to talk about my likes and dislikes that often, especially because sometimes people just ask, why do you like ninjas? Because they're awesome? Why are they awesome? What the I don't know, just my tastes. Why are they your taste? Fuck me, And there are many other things that I hate about introductions, but of course I will try my best in this PowerPoint slide to introduce everything about me, such as my basic info and also likes and dislikes, as this is. But generally, just doing this one part, of course, took super long, and I generally do not like it because I'd rather, again, just simply jump into it, and whoever is interested can come join me, watch what I'm doing, and whatnot. But I really do not see the point of trying to sell myself because generally I feel like the product itself, simply existing and being on the shelf, should be enough to decide, for a person to decide whether or not they want it or not. Though, I can't deny that a little bit of advertisement and selling how it could be useful to the daily person has some effects. Though I am generally also pretty lazy regarding that, and I'm pretty bad at that as well. So part of maybe why I hate introductions so much, but in the end, it doesn't change the fact I hate them. So, why don't we give some credits and respects to some of the people who helped me do everything so far in this VTuber project. For now, let's begin with our artist. The only artist that made my design is me. Yep, I'm the one who made my own design. It's a rather simple one, so that, you know, I'm also an artist, so I know how hard it is to draw a super detailed model and how much time that'll take. Some people may like that, spending all their time in the world to do it, but again, I wanted a simpler design because I like comics, and I wanted to make my own comic. More specifically manga, but most comics these days kind of suck. I really shouldn't have to explain why, but imagine having your like favorite childhood superhero get cucked. It's like the worst feeling in the world. It's like the worst. You wouldn't want to look up to them at that point. Like, there's no respect there. But of course, let's go on to our Papa, who rigged my model. Of course, I believe that is me. Hello there. Yep. So I am both the artist and the rigger who made you know, the art, everything, the art meshes and everything, and all the crap about this model. And then I'm the one who rigged all the parameters and the deformers and the designs. It was very, very hard work, but all I can say is that this PowerPoint slide actually took longer than the crap that I had to deal with this PowerPoint slide, trying to come up with all the points and trying to figure out what I want to introduce and what I don't want to. But, you know, let's introduce the person who made my music track. If you guys don't know who made the music track, he is really rather average at music, but people do say he's talented. But personally, I think the music that he made for my VTuber endeavors are a bit too energetic and really don't fit a really calm atmosphere and when we're trying to wind down or in a calm moment, because he went a bit too hard on every single track that he made. In fact, he made 2 of them, and although he tried to go less hard on the second one, both of them go so dang hard that they are just not fitting for a calm atmosphere, such as this one. So let's introduce our uncle, our musician, me. Yep, I'm the dumbass. I went a bit too hard on the music track that you have heard thus far. In fact, I said I made 2 music tracks. You've only heard 1 so far. The other one was a pre-existing track that I decided to use for the story part. I will, of course, play both of the music tracks for you guys once this section ends, so that way you guys are able to judge how good these music tracks are that I've made, and I hope that you guys do in fact like them, because I went way too goddamn hard on them, and they're more standalone tracks than they are something to listen to in the background, if honestly. I really went too dang hard. This is, you know, it really is a completely different atmosphere and energy to it that probably does not fit the way that I would have liked to in my VTuber endeavors. And of course, why don't we welcome our writer, the person who wrote my lore and what was revealed, or whatever I have for a lore that I haven't really revealed yet, but also wrote the little beginning story at the beginning. Of course, if you guys have pattern recognition, we're paying attention and everything of the sort, I'm sure you guys can finish the last piece of the puzzle, that person being me. So let's continue on. My dreams and goals for not just VTuber in general, but simply life. For one, I am aiming for financial freedom. I'd like to never work another day in my life just to pay another huge amount just to be able to live, have to worry about bills and everything of this sort. I'd rather not even have to worry about it. It's one of the reasons why I came back. However, I'm well aware that through my VTubing career and my YouTubing in general, both of them are basically interchangeable. I know that I'm probably I'm really only gonna get like at best, 20 bucks a year from all the stuff that I plan to do, which is absolutely amazing considering the amount of work that I did. I've literally put in so much work with my VTuber model, music, everything, including the slide. But in general, that's when I don't really expect this to really blow off or really fly off and really be my saving grace for this life. That being said, though, I will plan to continue doing this simply for fun because it is general. I don't know how to put how boring it is, simply just to watch movies and play games. Although they are very, very fun, there's something in my soul that demands I create things. Although how scuffed and boring as they might be, I would like to create and improve myself and create something that others can smile back on in various ways. You know, I want people to look back on it, or people who are watching it, you know, to smile, have fun, laugh, and chuckle. Have a great time. I want to be able to have that for others, to create that for others. And although I would like some money to go with that, I don't really have high hopes for the money part. And as for fun, all I can do is my best, and I don't really have much of an expectation for that, but I do hope that you guys have smiled a little bit throughout this debut. Though, I really cannot say that I am a particularly good entertainer. I would also like to find people that I can trust. Unfortunately, there is a reason why there's only one moderator in chat, assuming that I am not asleep, that being me, who... because, well, the thing is that no matter who I've met with and been with, there's always some significant difference between me and another person that eventually friendships simply will not last that long. There has never been a friend who I've really stuck with and really known for much longer than a year at best. Maybe 2, but very not long. And of course, it also means I don't really have many people to rely on or trust who I can have at my beck and call when I'm struggling at certain things. I have to do everything pretty much by myself, which is why most of the stuff that you've seen, from my model to the music to the art to every single thing that you've seen throughout the stream and hereforth, is effectively all my creations and my efforts and my time. And you know, I've met many people who I can talk with. In fact, I don't believe there hasn't been a single person who I'm unable to talk with, because my skill set, my knowledge, and my experiences have been wide range, and I don't really limit myself to many groups or bubbles. That I've been everywhere, essentially, and I know many people, what they believe in, what they don't, how skilled they are, how they aren't skilled, and how they feel and how they don't feel. However, there has never been a single person who can even match that for me. Although I have met artists, I have met musicians, I have met writers, I have met many different places on the internet with different fandoms and such, I have not met a single person who I can generally trust with my entire being. The only thing I've ever experienced in this life is people who I can share a part of myself with, but no more, simply because they don't care or aren't unable to keep up, or would hate that aspect of myself. So I'd also hope that in the event that my VTubing career does blow up, I'm able to actually find like people I can trust, like somebody, at least one person who can actually keep up with me. And unfortunately, that hasn't really happened yet. And for my third dream and goal, I'd like to find inner peace. That may sound a bit sappy, but I have found a little bit of inner peace from digging into my past and having met with a monk before. I've managed to work through some of my childhood traumas and such that have made me confident enough that I want to take VTubing a little bit more seriously. But I'm probably going to be busy with work because this isn't necessarily stable as of right now, nor do I see it as being stable in the future, or at least in the near future anyway. So I'll probably be busy at work. But whenever I am going to be free, I will do my best on my VTubing stuff to make sure that you are entertained and everything of the sort. But for what it's worth, I'd like to find inner peace in this life because I still have many things in this life, many things rooted in my soul that make me furious, that I simply cannot control myself in such ways that I would like to. Although I am more calmer and I'm able to regulate my emotions a bit more, there are still more things that I would like to work through in my life and in my soul that I would like to finally attain inner peace through essentially being able to resolve all those traumas. But it will take much more time. And, well, it will probably be something that, it's probably something that will take a little bit longer for me to reach, but I'd say I'll probably get that within this lifetime. Right before my deathbed, unless unnatural consequences get to me. But let's continue on, because, well, I'm not here to really preach about inner peace. It's I feel like that's something everybody would like to have, because it's simply nice. So what can you expect from me? For now, you guys can expect basic videos and streams of me gaming, playing various games, doing various things to make you entertained. I've considered doing art streams and art time lapses. However, the way I draw off of YouTube tends to be rather explicit for adults. Thus, I am unable to really do those types of streams or videos because I tend to draw them in such a way that YouTube might just ban my account for it. Or strike me more accurately, but it's gonna be a hard way. I have to adjust my art style and whatnot to a slightly less quality in order to make it safe and friendly, because I like to draw full bodies, all their details underneath, and I hate covering them with clothes. And I hate clothes in general because all the clothing wrinkles and all such suck to draw. Among other content that you guys may want to see from me, I'm generally open to any type of content, so long as it's within my ability to. I do not know if I'm gonna do ASMR ear cleaning stuff, if I need like specific setups or stuff, or whatever. I do not even know if people even want that. But if there's like something else aside from gaming, maybe art and whatnot, you may feel free to suggest it in the chat or in the comments of this video, which I hope that you guys do give me suggestions, because I am willing to try many new things, because it's pretty boring to do the same stuff over and over again. And this is the second point, aren't really my words, but it's generally what people have called me and considered me throughout my entire life online, and it's how other people describe me. I'm rather chaotic and rather nonsensical. I do things that people would generally not expect or hear someone say or read, and it's absolutely amazing. Of course, that just comes from my little mischievous personality, but I do like surprising people in both a good way and mostly a bad way. Honestly, I wish I could learn to surprise people in a good way, but I don't really find as much amusement, surprisingly enough, from such things. And of course, you can expect an odd personality, an unremittingly odd personality. That being my personality, I'm rather unremittingly odd. To put it into into words that you could understand, I have Asperger's, autism spectrum disorder, high functioning, though I don't really like to advertise it because it tends not to end well, in the sense that I feel like most people will make use of the fact I am and try to identify weaknesses in my lack of understanding of what's common sense and what's not, alongside basic life skills, and exploit it. So generally, my unawareness and my rather lack of an ability to understand things that should be common sense and very, very obvious, I generally do not like to advertise as such. But I will mention it because for those who are willing to understand and empathize with how I talk, how I behave, and whatnot, I hope that it serves as a sufficient explanation, and that you will be understanding and won't be too harsh on me. However, it's one of those things that I am well aware that there will exist people who will pretend that that's not an excuse, who will make various sorts of comments, who will even use that thing that I'm essentially born with, that I can't help, and, blame me for anything and everything that goes wrong, and, whatever I say that might be off and whatnot. So I don't tend to advertise it for that specific reason. But if it does help you empathize and can help you tolerate me more and be a bit more understanding, then yes, I shall mention it for you. But otherwise, I like to keep that bit silent for now. Well, that is all for my introduction. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening to the 2 music tracks that I have composed for my VTubing journey. That is to say, I went a bit too hard on both of those tracks, so I really cannot say that they're particularly good for VTubing, but although I do say that they're not fit for certain atmospheres, such as winding down after a hard, intense gaming session, and then a bunch of instrumentals are going super, super hard in the background, just for, when we're just winding down, I'm just catching up on chatting, getting ready to close up stream, and then there's like an energetic music just pumping up, basically getting you ready for a little bit more. It's not exactly a good thing. However, again, despite what I have said, I do believe that the music I've made is very, very good. Just not fitting. Though, I guess very good is a bit self-confident, but I mean, I personally like them, so I hope you guys do too. So, enjoy. Okay, well, now that the music's over, I'm kind of glad that you guys decided to stick around. You guys could have clicked off earlier, but there are a few things left to mention that I'm guessing is still in your mind. For one, why was this premiere rather than a stream? And that's because it frees up me, my ability to do things in real time once this starts running, to moderate chat. And also, if it really isn't that crazy anyway, or if I don't really expect too many people to come anyway, I can just sleep in and enjoy a nice rest. Though, of course, if you guys want me to do this debut in real time on an actual stream like proper VTubers do. And, you know, heckle me in real time while I scuff it up in real time. You can go ahead and suggest, you know, let me know in chat or comment it down below. And also like and subscribe, because then I'd know how many people are interested in my doing the debut again. But personally, I'm glad it's over, because I've been holding back on playing other games and recording myself with my new model, playing those games, whether it be recording it or streaming it as a video or you know, stream. And you know, now that this debut is effectively over, I can basically record my new model doing stuff, and it can capture my expressions with a higher quality model. As high quality as it can get anyway. I'm not exactly the most skilled artist in the world, but I like to think that it's a great improvement since. And, as for fan tags and such, I believe you guys might have noticed that I did not include it in my presentation. That's because I'd imagine that the fans can come up with better ones than I could come up with. In fact, I have my own ideas, but they're relatively simple and stupidly clever for what it's worth. And if anything, I honestly imagine that fans might be able to come up with the same ideas as I have. Though I might be disappointed if we didn't come up with the same answers. So long as the tags aren't taken already, I'll take whatever idea comes up and pops up. Though I'd imagine it doesn't really, it's not going to appear quite as, you know, I don't imagine fan is going to be quite that early, so I guess you guys can just tag me on Twitter or whatever social platform you guys use for fan art, but I'm not too worried about it, considering that I'm not that big of a streamer or an individual online anyway to really warrant a tag, to really organize all the stuff and have like a hub for it. And I did mention that I was going to be moderating chat, didn't I? I've been doing YouTube long enough, unfortunately, that I am aware that I've had to deal with some unsavory and obnoxious individuals. I like whatever community does pop up to be nice, respectful, fun to be around, and civil. Sometimes things will pop up here and there that go a bit far. And although if it's a natural consequence, I will understand where it's coming from, and, you know, I won't judge too hard or really punish, you know, unnecessarily hard. I'm not exactly a strict person regarding behaviors and such, but if it's too much, too disproportionate, I will probably have to step down and mute some people, remove some comments, ban some people, and whatnot. And I personally would like it if I don't have to be too strict. And, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed my debut for what it's worth. And I hope that we all can have a nice time. And I hope to see you guys next time. And if you guys are interested in what I have to offer, I hope, you know, maybe we'll see each other on some other corner of the internet. But regardless, I hope everybody has a good day. And, well, that's really about it. Goodbye, everybody. And that should be the end.